Long live the king.
There are very few scenes from a Disney movie that rival Scar's murderous revenge on his brother and the death of Mufasa. Anyone who's ever seen it automatically has it implanted in their brain, and they'll never forget it. It's one of the most iconic scenes in Disney animation history, and you could make the argument that it's one of the most iconic scenes in film history. But I don't want to talk about that scene. It's an important scene, but Scar's most defining scene, and the one that helps him get to the murder of his brother, is the point where he sings the song, "Be Prepared." My name's Josh Taylor, this is Modern Mouse, and today I want to talk about Scar and the socio-political implications of The Lion King, and what we can take away from it to see the problems within our own social and political structures. Nando V Movies has once again assembled a group of YouTube essayists to talk about some of their favorite films. And in honor of the new Suicide Squad film coming out, we're being tasked to make a video called One Villainous Scene, highlighting a villainous character. If you want to contribute to the playlist, you can. Just send him a tweet to @NandoVMovies with your attached video. And with that out of the way, let's get into this. Is there a scenario in which Scar doesn't kill his brother? Probably not. Abuse of power is something that continues to be a problem within our society. Yet we still need leadership in one form or another. Players always need coaches. Students always need teachers. Even if we lived in a utopian society, we would still need some form of leadership. And for some leaders, power corrupts and greed takes over. Mufasa's death, regardless of the political structure of the Pride Lands, was inevitable, considering the power hunger that Scar had. But what made Scar an untouchable force wasn't his necessity for power, it was his charm and charisma. Scar's true threat is when he convinces the hyenas that the lions are the problem, and that they can take over the Pride Lands together. The song "Be Prepared" symbolizes the creation of a new army based on weaponizing the lower class, by convincing them that they have been mistreated and abused. But here's the thing. Scar is not wrong. The Lion King wants to portray the Pride Lands as a place of equality, thanks to Mufasa as its leader. But the reality is that the hyenas live in an area deemed the Shadowlands, a bad place on the outskirts. The hyenas aren't bad characters, but they've been unjustly treated, segregated to the elephant graveyards. There's a moment when Zazu warns Mufasa that hyenas are in the Pride Lands, and Mufasa acts as if that's some great danger.
Hyenas in the Pride Lands!
Zazu, take Simba home.
Oh, Dad, can I come?
No, son.
Due to their poor treatment, Scar is able to walk into the elephant graveyards and easily convince them that they've been wronged by Mufasa and the kingdom that he's run, because they have been. And as time has gone on, they've become hungrier and life has gotten harder. For the hyenas, Scar's song is a rallying cry and an escape from poverty and prejudice. As a real-world struggle, we're continuing to see the wealth gap split more and more between classes. The middle class, which you could equate to every animal that lives in the Pride Lands besides the hyenas and lions, is almost non-existent at this point. And even in the film, we rarely see those animals. The upper and lower classes in our society continue to shift as pay wages don't go up and prices increase more and more. The upper class, the lions, continue to live comfortably and happily, ignoring the problems or outright shunning the lower class. For a majority of us, we are the hyenas. It's getting harder for us to live, harder for us to save. And we're without structures in place to secure us from not dying of sickness or to not go without essentials like food, shelter, and water. It wouldn't be difficult to see someone right now come in and convince the lower class that we need to start a war in order to change things. Revolutions and wars due to class warfare have happened before and ultimately have done good, at least some of them, while others have given power to people who are corrupt. This scene is the point in which Scar truly becomes evil. because he uses the hyenas as a way to build his own power. He does give back to the hyenas, but it's short-lived as he strips the Pride Lands of food for everyone, including the hyenas. He ultimately isn't a good leader, as he is looking out for just himself and nobody else. He doesn't bring balance to the Pride Lands, but more destruction than even his brother had caused. So, how does the narrative change? How does Scar not become one of the most villainous characters in Disney history? Like I said before, I don't think that you can stop Scar from killing Mufasa. Maybe he wouldn't have done it in the way that he did, by having him fall to his death and get trampled by wildebeests, but he would have found a way because of his hunger for power. Scar's real crime, and the thing that we can change, is convincing the easily convinced that they also needed power, and as an army, needed to assert domination. There's often this joking phrase about eating the rich, but like the hyenas who literally did just that, there are many who take that phrase as necessity. It wouldn't be difficult for someone with charm and charisma to come into our current society, especially in the United States, and create a class war. The true answer doesn't fall on destroying society, and it definitely doesn't necessitate murder. What we should be seeking out is a restructuring. The hyenas should have never been banned to one place, never left on their own struggling to survive. Just as we shouldn't see people struggling for the basics of life, like food and shelter and clothing. Maybe this will ruffle some feathers, but people shouldn't have to go into severe debt just to survive, or kill themselves by overworking so that they can put 3 meals a day on the table for their family. Or if a medical emergency happens, people shouldn't have to fear whether or not they can even afford to get the treatment for that illness. Regardless of political affiliations or how charming and charismatic someone might be, we should always hold our leaders accountable. We can't afford to give them power and then them not use it to benefit the entirety of our group. If that goes on long enough, it's how revolutions begin. It's how class warfare starts. We're all humans, and despite power or not, we should treat each other equally, instead of treating each other like lions and hyenas. Thanks for checking out this video. I hope you liked it. If so, you can check out my One Marvelous Scene video about Ant-Man and the future of the MCU. You can check out that video here. You can also check out a playlist of all of the Disney eras explained. It's a lot of fun. Check that out as well. And in the meantime, thank you for watching. And as always, my friends, keep moving forward.